Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. So you join me in the RS7 on my way to Goodwood Motor Circuit. Because a few weeks ago, I got one of those really great emails. You know the kind of email that arrives in your inbox and you think, is that really for me? So I had an email from McLaren saying, would you like to join us at Goodwood Motor Circuit to drive the 570S Spider? Well, I checked my diary, cancelled everything and replied, I'll be there. I'm on my way, and I have to say I am properly excited about this one. I have driven a 570S before, but only on one of those supercar experience days, and I didn't really get a proper good feel for the car, so I cannot wait for today. So next stop, Goodwood and McLaren.
We all know the racing pedigree of McLaren, but Bruce McLaren also wanted to build the ultimate road-going sports car. This dream started with the M6 GT. Tragically, he was killed here at Goodwood whilst testing his new M8D Can-Am car, crashing on the Lavant Straight. His memorial is just yards from where we are having our briefing today, making my first McLaren experience even more special. McLaren's very latest Super Series car, the 720S, was also on display, so it would be rude of me not to show you around. Powered by a 4-litre twin-turbo V8, this stunning piece of engineering has 720 PS and 568 pounds-feet of torque. Performance? Try 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 124 in 7.8 seconds, and a 212 miles an hour VMAX. Time to head inside for our briefing. There's also the opportunity to practice our driving skills, but I just realise how rubbish I am at computer games. So we're here at Goodwood for the McLaren Tour. So this is a roadshow. They've got 3 different venues, I think, and the guys at McLaren invited me along today to experience the McLaren 570S Spider. I am so excited. Obviously saw the car at Festival of Speed and I've wanted to get behind the wheel ever since. So the format is I'm going to be paired up with another journalist. We've got a pre-planned route in the sat-nav. We get to experience the car out on the public road. So we're going to take a really good look around, sort of inside and outside first. Then we're going to go up the road for a full road test and review. I have a feeling this is going to be quite special. The 570S Spider is powered by a 3.8-litre twin-turbo V8, producing 570 PS. This is coupled to a simply superb 7-speed seamless shift gearbox. Performance is staggering: 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds and 0 to 124 miles an hour in 9.6 seconds. The lightweight retractable hardtop drops in just 15 seconds and at speeds of up to 40 km an hour. The super clean and brilliantly laid out interior follows McLaren's design philosophy of everything for a reason. It's practical too. There is 150 litres of luggage space up front, but this clever touch gives an additional 52 litres under the tonneau when the roof is up.
here we are, guys. We are behind the wheel of the McLaren 570S Spider. Now this is my first, if you like, proper one of these sort of press events. So I'm joined by Neil in the passenger seat. So we've driven out, and all on local roads that I know. So we've just driven out as far as Midhurst, done a driver change. So it's finally my turn to get behind the wheel, and it's been torture sitting in the passenger seat watching Neil drive the car, because it's just superb. So 570S Spider, stats I'm sure you all know, 570 PS. The really interesting thing about this new Spider, even though they've chopped the roof off, because it's based around a carbon fibre tub, there's a very, very small weight penalty. It's just over 40 kilos heavier than the coupe, and predominantly that's to do with the sort of motors and the mechanism for dropping the roof. But I've started it with the roof up, one because the acoustics are better, but also just to kind of show you the different modes in the car. But straight away I'm going to do what I think is one of the best modes in this car, and that is to drop this rear screen behind me. So the little button just here. And the really cool thing about that is, even if it's raining, you get all the lovely joyous noises from that fantastic engine behind you, but you stay dry and your hair stays in place. It really does. Even driving through Midhurst is a fairly busy little village, and even that makes a great noise. Oh, there's a big lorry coming. Hopefully you stay there and let me come past. So the other thing, when you're driving a supercar for the first time on British roads, big lorries like that become much more scary. Curbs become much more scary, and the whole experience changes, because you're more aware of the sort of value and specialness of the car you're driving. If you're not familiar with McLaren, you've got two controls in the sort of center console here. One of them controls effectively the suspension firmness and setup, and the other one controls the powertrain, the sort of traction and drive mode. And at the moment they're both in the sort of normal comfort setting. And the first thing you'll note if you ever are lucky enough to drive in a McLaren is the comfort setting is so compliant. It does not feel like a supercar at all. Yes, it's a firm ride, but it's even on a kind of bumpy B road, it soaks those things up really nicely. But I am tempted to shift the button slightly and go into the different drive modes. So I'm going to put them both up into sport mode. At the moment I'm also driving it in full automatic mode. So again, you've got, I guess, three options here. You can just drive it in full automatic mode, or if you then wanted to take over, you can grab a paddle. I really love that click on the paddles, and it's a rocker as well, so you can change up and down on either side by either pulling or pushing. And if you grab a paddle from automatic and then don't touch the paddles for just a few seconds, it then just reverts back to being a normal automatic car. Or there is a button again on the center console where you can go into full manual mode, and it will hold the gears all the way up to the red line. So we've got a gap in the traffic. The gear changes are just mega in this thing. Really good brakes, but it's the front end. Whenever you drive any really sort of top end supercar, it's that front end grip that always impresses me. The directness is a little bit light as we went over that crest. And it just sounds ace. That rear window drop down is just... Up changes are so smooth. Okay, so my very first impressions of just having pushed on a little bit is, this is one of the fastest cars I've ever driven, without question, but one of the least intimidating cars I've ever driven. It just does not feel like it's trying to kill me. It's clearly got some very clever electronics, and I know you can kind of switch stuff off, which I'm not going to be doing today. And if I put it up into the track mode, that would kind of back things off a little bit, and I could be a Chris Harris hero. But in that sport mode, you gather pace at an unbelievable rate of knots, but you never feel like the car's ever trying to kill you. It's got that lovely balance, and if you just drop it down a couple and another one, it's just superb. Oh dear. I'm basically having to recalibrate what I think a good car is. So you can actually drop this roof while you're going along, but as we're on a road and I don't want to kind of go to sort of that lower speed, I'm just going to pull in and do it. But it goes down really, really quickly. Here we go. This is where the audio becomes a challenge. Firecracker! Didn't hear that with the roof up.
No.
That was like a rifle shot going off behind us. So now, you know me guys, I am a massive convertible fan. I've clearly got my mini convertible, but I've had a convertible in the family for probably 15 years. And I'd always go for the convertible. So for me, when the 570S came out, I thought that's an amazing car. As soon as I realised they'd done a Spider version of it, I'm thinking that's my perfect car. It's a beautiful McLaren. It's massive performance, but it's got no roof. So I really saw it at Festival of Speed, desperate to get in it, and you know, I'm very, very lucky that the guys at McLaren, you know, once I got in touch, they said, look, you know, we've got these road shows happening, why don't you come along and finally get behind the wheel of the 570S Spider? And I'm so grateful they invited me. So here we go, let's just... Oh, man alive. That is quite a weapon. It's a very special car, this. What I like about it very much is it's not intimidating to drive. You would think getting into a 120,000+ car with 570 PS would be really, really scary, and it's not. Don't get me wrong, if you misbehave in this car and don't give it respect, then it's gonna bite you. But just mooching around through town, driving at a firm pace on British roads, and it's a reasonably damp day today as well. We had some rain overnight. There's lots of wet leaves because it's autumn, so the road surface, you have to be a bit careful. It's a bit tricky. You know, the farmers have been doing stuff in the field, so you can come around corners and find mud on the road. But it's very, very sure-footed. It gives you a huge amount of confidence, and it really does give you just going to try it in the track suspension setting, just to feel, because I actually quite like a slightly more compliant ride, and I'm feeling this one's probably a little bit too firm and might sort of be a bit unbalanced on a bumpy B road. It doesn't feel too bad actually. I'm not going to put it in the track drivetrain mode though. The sport drivetrain mode works just great for me. That's all good. Inside here with the roof down, there's very little wind flutter, to be honest. I don't know what the audio is going to be like on my microphone. I'll probably find out when I get home and check my footage and go, oh no, why did I have the roof down? But actually, with the glass window, so you want that glass panel up when you've got the roof down, and it kind of cuts out a lot of the wind flutter and wind noise. The really amazing thing about this car, which I'm not going to be able to try today, but it will do 195 miles an hour with the roof down. Now, having recently done 160 miles an hour in a Caterham, that felt like 200 miles an hour, to be honest. But 195 miles an hour with the roof down, that is absolutely incredible. But if you look at the performance comparison between the Spider and the Coupe, the differences are, you know, tenths of a second differences to 60 and to 100 miles an hour. It's minute, you know, you wouldn't tell the difference at all performance wise. There's a top speed difference, and that's purely aero more than anything else. You just keep changing up and down a lot just to hear the gear change in the revving, but it's one of my favourite bits of this corner here. Man, get in. And on the loud pedal. Oh, wow. Now the interesting thing about that was this road surface, especially through there, was particularly damp. No traction issues at all there, it just gets the power on the road. There's so many kind of anti-slip systems in here to kind of help you along. You've just got that engine tone in the background just growling away at you, going, come on, I'm here, push the loud pedal, make me go quicker. But interestingly, unlike a couple of quick cars I've driven recently, this car has absolutely no problems going slowly either. It's not a kind of car that isn't comfortable just mooching and cruising. Sometimes these kind of faster performance sort of, they only like going fast. Not this car at all. It's so smooth in normal auto mode. I'm actually going to drop it back down into the kind of softer suspension setting. But even in the track suspension setting, it wasn't uncomfortable. Sadly, we are very nearly back at Goodwood. We were just saying at kind of normal road speeds, 50, 60 miles an hour like we're doing now, you can actually have a normal conversation with the person next to you without having to shout, or the wind doesn't get in the way. Clearly the faster you go, corner, the faster you go, and the more you want to press on the loud pedal, the cabin noise gets noisier. But if you really had a problem with that, or you had a long stretch of autoroute or autobahn, you just stick the roof up and leave that back window open, and then you get the best of both worlds. But you know, we're both convertible owners, and we've got the same sort of, you know, principles in life. If it ain't raining, roof down.
Always. It's the law.
It's the law. So anyway, before we get back, I'm going to basically leave you with my final impressions of this car. A car I've wanted to drive for a very long time. I wanted to get hold of the 570 Coupe, and then when the Spider came out, it's been a long process, but I have to say a huge thank you to McLaren for inviting me to this roadshow. But my final impressions of this car, this video couldn't be long enough for me to say all the things I love about this car, and we've only done a very, very short route. It is so usable, so drivable, so fast. I mean, it's the performance this car has. You really have to recalibrate yourself to it. It gets up to speed unbelievably, but it does it in such a way that, well, one, you don't realise how fast you're going, but you don't realise how fast you're going because there's no scary drama. There's drama, don't get me wrong. The leaves and the trees whiz past quicker, and you get this amazing soundtrack from the engine behind you, but there's no drama from losing traction or thinking you're going to have a nasty accident. It's just phenomenally drivable, and that mix of drivability, the mix of, look at that, the sun's come out, I've got the sun in my face, the world's biggest sunroof. It's a very impressive car. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come, but from the very comfy and most excellent seat of the McLaren 570 S Spider. I'll see you on the next film, guys. You take care, drive safe.